With me in the studio, introducing from my left this evening, Shishir Gupta is a journalist and an author of a new book which is called Indian Mujahideen Enemy Within, which is just out and talks in great length about the links between several groups and the interconnections. Shishir, thanks for coming and congratulations on your new publication. I'm seeing after a long time, well, nice to see Commodore Uday Bhaskar, former director IDSA, security analyst C. Raja Mohan, one of India's veteran security analysts and columnist, and G. Parthasarathy, former Indian High Commissioner to Pakistan. So my first question is to you. You know, all these groups now, we don't have a direct link to any one group here. But all these groups, which are under the radar in some way or the other for the Delhi blast, are all part, aren't they, of the ISI's Karachi project? So are we wrong in not looking at all, or are we wrong, let me put it this way, in looking at Pakistan for the terror attacks that have happened?
Let me clarify.
Yes, sir.
There is a seamless link maintained by the ISI on all terrorist organizations, ranging from those operating in Afghanistan to those operating against us.
Yes.
So whether it is the Haqqani group or the Taliban or the Houthi,
yes,
or the Lashkar-e-Taiba, they are all seamlessly linked by the ISI. That gives the ISI what they call as deniability, except when they fouled up in the case of Mumbai, yes, with leaving such large, yes, tracks. The Indian end of this is the Indian Mujahideen, or SIMI as it was in an earlier incarnation. My reading is that the people may be connected with Houthi through that seamless link and the ISI, but every bit of this modus operandi, using ammonium nitrate, local fertilizer, that is not a direct Houthi trail. But the Indian Mujahideen and the Indian assets of the ISI have been trained with this seamless link of groups ranging from the Taliban to the Lashkar-e-Taiba through the ISI. So whatever the Pakistan Foreign Office may say, this seamless link, even if it is the Indian Mujahideen, traces its training, its motivation, its organization to the ISI.
So how do we tackle them? That's why
let me say this. The Americans recently said, Leon Panetta, the defense minister, told Pakistan to get out of denial. Pakistan is not going to get out of denial. They are going to, if they are doing that in Afghanistan, they are going to continue with us. We've had the Lashkar attacks on Jammu and Kashmir recently. But Pakistan will now do it in a manner which leaves very little trail for us to prove. We have to adopt, to my mind, Arunabh, different versions of the American strategy. We don't have to go in crudely like the Americans, but we should, I think we need to develop a strategy where anyone who targets India will face retribution in some form or the other.
In what form? I want to take that
one more last point. Our own security setup here needs much improvement.
Absolutely,
and much review. And unless we go about that, and we have it organized in a better manner, this is going to continue. I am afraid I do not take anything the government has done thus far seriously.
No, Raja, there is of course a Pakistan angle, but the government is coy. The Ministry of External Affairs wants to have a running, dialogue process which it feels will capsize if it even talks about a Pakistan link. In that case, how do we do what Mr. Parthasarathy is suggesting?
I don't see any contradiction.
You don't see?
Only thing is, we shouldn't believe the propaganda part of it, that you need to keep some engagement with Pakistan. I don't think there's any...
No doubt on that, yes.
That doesn't mean you believe that you can negotiate away Pakistan's capacity to hurt you through terrorism. We've tried this for the last 6 years, that we give them political concessions, somehow they will accept them and give up on their support to terrorism.
Yes.
But the fact is, what we should have learned in the last 6 years is, that is, if the Americans can't get them to act after $20 billion of aid and 3 years of relentless bombing through drones, we think we can just be nice and get something out of them. So I think it's quite clear that whatever we did with Musharraf, General Kayani is not interested in a negotiated settlement, and we should not believe, while you must engage the Foreign Office and the political leaders, there should be no belief here that you're going to be able to get satisfaction from the Pakistan army
That's
on the question of terrorism.
Do you feel that's what the government believes now?
I hope they do, because I'm sure they do, because while you maintain the track of negotiation, you cannot, by any evidence, bet. Pakistan Army, Kayani has given you no quarter to believe is going to help you deal with your terrorism. So I think you have to operate with Pakistan on multiple tracks. And more importantly, to deal with them on where it hurts them. Because I think, let me say, we are also still a sideshow.
Yeah, agree.
The real game for Pakistan is in Afghanistan. A couple of blasts like this will keep us off balance. Because the real show for them is on the other side of the border. Until we have a capacity to affect them on the other side of the border, that is on the Durand line, we can't influence the nature of the Pakistan Army's behavior towards us.
Yeah, so, Commodore Uday Bhaskar, in the given situation, everyone on this panel seems to agree there is an obvious Pakistan link to it. But it's been 24 hours, it's going to be 48 hours in some time. We don't even see a reference to Pakistan. And in all these cases which the NIA has helped in, this unsolved angle is very predominant. Every case is pending. Do you believe that our foreign policy is beginning to determine our domestic policy insofar as fighting terror is concerned? And is that a good thing?
No, I think if you go by recent example, Arnab, I think it would be more appropriate to say that our domestic politics, if you will, are influencing foreign policy.
That's also true.
And the recent visit of the Prime Minister to Dhaka would
Yes.
perhaps be a case in point. But, you know, today we are trying to get a sense of post-Delhi blast. Where are we? And my own reading is that this question of linking Pakistan in the first 24 hours, because we have inferred that there is the LET, there is the Jaish, and there is 20 years of an experience. I would say as an analyst that perhaps it's imprudent for anybody to be immediately, you know, it's almost Pavlovian, that you have an attack and the first thing you expect that the Indian Foreign Office is going to say that we point our finger at Pakistan. As an analyst, I would say that it is imprudent, it doesn't help. Because what is the Indian objective?
Like to say, 3 weeks before the blast yesterday, there was a clear and specific input to the Delhi police stating that foreign terrorists, mostly Pakistanis, had entered the country and would try to enter the capital. I agree with you, we don't want to come to conclusions, but what is, you know, these were intelligence inputs about as concrete as saying Pakistani and foreign nationals. So there's a backdrop to it, Commodore Uday Bhaskar. It's not only shooting in the dark. And there's a lot more else, but yes, please.
Arnab, I just want to say one thing.
Yes.
I am not speaking here for the government.
No,
I'm
I
an
agree,
analyst.
I agree.
So
yes.
all I want to put this in context is that we have gone over this many times in the past, and it's tragic. Every time there's been a blast anywhere in India, you know, television gets on top of the story and we try and see as to where is the problem, how do we go about it. I am recalling, for the benefit of our viewers this evening, Kargil happened in 1999.
Yes.
And at that time, the same kind of point was made that intelligence was made available. Now, we said it at that time, and you will remember the reference to actionable intelligence. For the last 24 hours, I've been hearing this, that the Delhi police was told that there is the likelihood.
So let's discount that. Even if I were to discount that, even if I were to discount that, I just want to come to Shishir on this way. Suppose I discount all of this. All these incidents, the 6 incidents from the German bakery to now, we've heard about the Indian Mujahideen. And, you know, the Indian Mujahideen is a cushion for Pakistan, as Mr. Parthasarathi very clearly said. It's a camouflage. It's a cushion.
True.
What is the Indian Mujahideen, Shishir? Is it as amorphous as that? Does it have no political masters? Does it have no strategic thinkers? Is there no Pakistan angle?
See, the Indian Mujahideen essentially is a mutation of a section of SIMI, which started. So that is where it started from. True. Obviously, it has a Pakistan link in the sense that, you know, if you look at the Karachi project, it's basically turning your own youth against your own country. You know, training youth in Pakistan.
Without a doubt. Yes.
So this is what has happened. But the point is now that this group, what is happening now for the past, at least for the past 6 incidents that have been lying unsolved, you have virtually the same device. You have virtually the same, you know, the tactics are same. There is absolute silence. There is absolute
silence. From?
Silence. There is. I mean, you just can't. You know, there is no technical input available to the police. You're talking about generic alerts. You're not talking about anything beyond that. The point in here is that obviously there is a.
Plus, there's been a politicization of the terror debate. Complete politicization.
See, the politicization of the terror debate has actually ruined the entire thing also, because, you know, what has happened is now everybody actually starts looking at his back and, you know, tries to solve up the case the way the political masters want it. The point over here is that, you know, this is a matter of utmost concern, because even German bakery, While Mumbai police may claim that they have solved the case, the security agencies don't believe that, because they still believe that the real culprits have not been caught. And till such time the real culprits are not caught, you're going to have blasts after blasts.
Who are the real culprits?
You see, see what has happened is, what has been caught particularly in German bakery,
yeah.
is, you have a mix of, people, either Lashkar-e-Taiba or, it's a mixed people. Normally groups do not operate like that.
Yeah, but you see, the point is, Mr. Parsati, if all of this is true, when a government reacts, when a home ministry reacts, so the government reacts, it has to react to where the plotters are originally from. Right now the reaction seems to be on the level of Indian Mujahideen, it's domestic terror. And then even that is not tackled, because there are arguments about whether there is a political will to crack down on the terror breeding grounds in India itself. Because the moment you do that, it's completely politicized. So you're neither attacking the local base, nor are you taking on the original masters. So what is this leading on?
There are two aspects.
Yes.
What is the signal you are sending to the terrorists? You have a leading political figure in this country visiting the families of terrorists who killed a policeman in Delhi and condoling with them, and then shedding tears for them. You do not hang the prime ministers, the assassins of a former prime minister.
Yes.
Afzal Guru is merry and everybody. Somebody of a Punjab terrorist who killed a chief minister is now joining the bandwagon. When you have a government unable to enforce the law of the land, which says these guys should be hanged on by the highest rope, what is the signal you send to the terrorist domestically? To my mind, terrorism should maybe made a crime that there is no pardon, you're just hanged, as long as it is in the statute book.
No, but
Secondly, so a firm, tough message. Secondly, the agencies are hamstrung. You have a new investigative agency getting you nowhere. Finally, I'm afraid, much as I respect what Uday has said, the government is confusing the people of India by their approach to Pakistan.
Uday, would you like to
No,
reply?
let me just say why. Let me just say why.
Yeah.
By all means, as Raja says, I'm in complete agreement, engage them. But shedding tears that Pakistan, like India, is a victim of terrorism, our hearts bleed for the people of Pakistan. They created this terror machinery, they're paying the price of it. For God's sake, let us not equate them with us.
No, absolutely. Commodore Uday Bhaskar, would you like to immediately
Yeah,
respond?
sure thing. But I just want to say this point again. I don't represent the government of India on this panel. All I said is that India should engage with Pakistan.
Yeah.
I have said this in the past, I'm saying it again today, that after May 1998, when India and Pakistan acquired their respective nuclear capabilities, I'm afraid engagement does not mean endorsement.
But I don't think there is any argument
So
on
to that extent, I think, I have no particular difference as to what Partha is saying on this. Should we have had a better policy about dealing with Pakistan? The answer is an emphatic yes. I'd go a step further. Should we have a clear policy about China? The answer is an emphatic yes. But regrettably, governments over the last 20 years, going back, I would say, to even NDA, have not been able to arrive at that cohesion.
I agree with him.
Internally. So I think we should see this in a much larger context. And again, Arnab, I'd like to come back to the Delhi blast. It's less than a little over 24 hours. And I think where we are driving at is to say that this country should have an objective that we preempt the next such attack, which means you strengthen existing capacity. And my single point is institutional integrity is lacking. We need to address it.
Raja wanted to come in. Shishir, right after that I'm coming to you. Yes, Raja.
No, I was just saying that whether we talk to them or not is only relatively insignificant part of it. The question is, do we have the capacity to hurt the other side, those who think you are hurting us? Till we develop those capacities, you are not going to be able to change
We
the
have dulled our covert capacities. Are we building them? Do we want to?
There seems to be no evidence.
But that also requires political will.
Absolutely.
To want to do that. Is there a political will, Raja?
I think we've got so much into this question of talking, not talking, that there is no emphasis on building capabilities that are far more important than the question of engaging them for the sake of
It's
engagement.
incredible. We have some of the most experienced minds on this panel making the same point today. And I know that the three of you don't always agree on everything. So it's
one of those rare occasions
It's one of
we
those
agree.
rare occasions when you actually agree. I'm enjoying this today. Shishir, quick last word from you here today. You wanted to come into this debate. You know, Commodore Uday Bhaskar says don't come to quick conclusions. Would you like to respond to that?
See, the point in this is that I agree with Commodore Uday Bhaskar when he says don't come to quick conclusions. But the fact of the matter is you need to take urgent steps.
Yes.
You see, you cannot afford, blast after blast after blast, innocent people sort of losing their lives to fertilizer bombs every now and then. You need to sort out. You need to have a proper counter-terror strategy in place. You need to hold people accountable. Not even a single cop has ever been held accountable for anything. Now, you can go blue in the face blaming Pakistan for it. But have you built a capacity to actually neutralize them outside your borders? Have you built a capacity to hustle these terrorists?
Even that
out?
requires political will, Shishir.
So the point is, somebody has to take a call. People cannot die day after day after day. You see, you had a May 25, on May 25 you discovered a bomb outside the Delhi High Court.
Oh yes.
The bomb is the same bomb that exploded yesterday. So you cannot afford that. I mean, somebody has to answer
I
to
think
that.
we have come down to two key issues. Do we have the political will? And second, do we have the ability to hurt the other side, whoever's hurting us? I think there's total consensus. It should be food for thought because complete consensus emerging on this section of the news, and I must say, it's a very rare occasion when there's ever any consensus on the news. Gentlemen, thank you. It's a pleasure to see you. And thanks for adding some insight to a very pertinent debate. And I will see all of you again tomorrow, same time, with the news and the relevant debate. Good night and goodbye.